couldn't really think of anything special, but I did collect poetry over the years, and I thought, well, I'll share a few that you might enjoy. Before Frank and I were married, he was drafted into the Army, so it stands to reason that some of my poetry was related to war stories. The next one is that. In 3 small rafts, long miles from land, they battled sharks on every hand and prayed. Storm swept upon an angry sea for what seemed an eternity. They prayed. When water was denied to them, they pled with him of Bethlehem for rain. And answering their tortured pleas, he set their awful thirst at ease with rain. When hunger buried deep inside, to him quite unashamed they cried for food. And granting graciously their wish, there leaped upon one raft of fish, fresh food. When hope had waned and death was near, they called to him in voices clear for help. And hearkened unto their cries, planes dropped from out the tropic skies with help. Lives there a man who dares to say he does not hear us when we pray? The good news, the rest of the story, is that Frank was gone in the Army for 4 years, and then he did come home. And on the 50th anniversary of his homecoming, I wrote a little poem, which I'm going to share with you. New Year's Eve in '45. Most of you were not alive and were not around to even remember when my soldier came home the end of December. In August, war ended and peace was signed. Surely they'll bring him home soon, I pined. September, October, November, December. It seemed forever as I remember. Then New Year's Eve in '45, a glad, glad day to be alive. In spite of the years of waiting and pain, my soldier at last came home again. We were having a party and pit was the game. Corner on wheat, give me 2 just the same. The noise was top level, oh what a din. A knock on the door. It's Frank, he can't come in. I was completely hemmed in by people in chairs, but got to the back door and down the back stairs. There Frank was waiting, reunion was sweet, the years fell away and life seemed complete. A few months later we took our vows. Now we are close to taking our vows. The years have been kind. Can it be 50? And all we can say, they have been nifty. So the years rolled by one, another New Year's with party and fun. And it's nice again to stop and remember how my soldier came home the end of December. This poem was written by a former principal of Mount Ellis. Actually, he was the man who was principal the year Frank graduated from here. And maybe you will realize that things haven't changed all that much at Mount Ellis in the last 75 years. Have you ever tried to lead a flock of bleaters through the fence or chased a score of yearling calves when underbrush was dense? Have you ever gathered turkey hens and herded chickens home? If you have, you know the feeling that inspires this modest poem. I'm not a chicken farmer and I'm not a cattleman. My job is teaching modern youth the very best I can. I like the working classes and I like the campus fun. I like the peace of eventide when all the work is done. Among my varied duties, there's just one that makes me groan. It is when I am asked to be a student chaperone. They vow to stay together on leaving for a walk, but all their vows and promises are only empty talk. Some are long and lanky, they step out far and fast, and some are short and delicate, they string along and last. And some are full of pep and vim, and some are lazy-like. No mortal man could keep them all together on a hike. At first we form a solid squad and start out from the door, but ere we've walked a half an hour, we're strung a mile or more. And me, I have to hurry back and forth along the line. They may enjoy leisurely. I'm stepping all the time. And when I stop to ginger up the stragglers in the rear, my heart is torn with anguish and I'm haunted with the fear that several brazen lassies will be holding of boys' hands and all the forward company be split up into bands. It wears me to a frazzle. I'm almost skin and bones. I'd rather be a rickshaw man than a student chaperone. And if this generation don't keep their plighted word, I'm doomed to lose my patience, my Irish will be stirred, till driven to the desperate act, I shall petition Prex that when we go on hiking trips, we make it single sex. Well, since I've lived this long, I thought I should give you a couple little things on aging. I'm fine, how about you? There's nothing whatever the matter with me. I'm just as healthy as can be. I have arthritis in both my knees, and when I talk with a wheeze. My pulse is weak, my blood is thin, but I'm awfully well for the shape I'm in. Arch supports I have from my feet, or I wouldn't be able to go in the street. Sleep is denied me every night, and in the morning I am a sight. My memory's failing, my head's in a spin, but I'm awfully well for the shape I'm in. The moral is, as this tale we unfold, that for you and me who are growing old, it's better to say I'm fine with a grin than to let them know the shape we're in. How do I know that my youth is spent? Because my get up and go has got up and went. But in spite of all that, I'm able to grin when I think where my get up and go has been. Old age is golden, I've heard it said, but sometimes I wonder as I go to bed, my ears in the drawer, my teeth in a cup, my eyes on the shelf till I get up. Ere sleep dims my eyes, I say to myself, is there anything else I should lay on the shelf? The final one is on grandmothers. I didn't even know I was going to have some grandkids here tonight. I'm thankful that they're here, but I'll give you the poem anyway. They say that all grandmothers are inclined to brag a bit, and that there is some truth in that, I must frankly admit. For since I've reached that stage, and all my friends have too, I'm floored by all the bragging these other grandmas do. Yet when I see these boys and girls, their grandmother's pride and joy, each seems to me to be quite an ordinary girl or boy. Of course, I humor them along and say I think they're fine, but you can see the difference if you've ever noticed mine. My own are so much cuter, smarter, and handsomer than theirs. I can't afford to humor them when they put on such airs. I'm really glad that I don't brag like other grandmas do. I've so much more to brag about if I just wanted to. Thank you. To invite you to that great reunion in heaven. That's important thing we want to do. I'd like to meet you all up there.